Is one of your New Year's resolutions to start working on some of the projects in your home that you've been putting off? Instead of getting overwhelmed and giving up by February, I'm going to share the process that I like to use to help break down the projects that I'm going to do into little chunks. And I like to do it at the beginning of the year for a couple of reasons. First, once I go through this process, it really makes it where I'm able to find pieces that are one of a kind that I can thrift or that are on Facebook Marketplace. And I'm doing a more intentional search, and therefore I'm getting much better results and not bringing home things that are not part of my plan. And I can really spread my budget out to make it go further. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to reveal a tool that you can use to make it more likely that you actually stick to your goals. So the first step in my process is visualization. What I like to do is go around to each space. I've been thinking, oh, I wish I had a different rug, or oh, I wish I had lights in here. I go to each room and I'm just going to spend 5 minutes or less. I'm going to jot down the top 2 or 3 things that I wish I could do in each room. And I'll give you an example. In my dining room, I've really been wanting a different rug because I bought a really cheap rug years ago thinking, I'm just going to put this in here temporarily. And years later, here it still is. So that's one of the things. If I'm sitting in my dining room making my list, new rug is one of the things on my list. And more lighting. I want some sconces. So that's an example of 2 things that I think can make a big difference in my dining room. I go through and I do that for each space. I like to spread it out into 12 spaces, just one for each month, even though I don't have 12 rooms, but I count bathrooms. I count my backyard. I count my laundry area, which is not a separate room. So you can just divide your space into 12 chunks that make sense for you and go to each one and take a few minutes to just jot down the 3 things that you could do in that space that would improve it. The next step is to just pick which space you're going to do first. I'm going to choose my dining room because I've been putting off getting a new rug in there. The next step is I'm going to take some before photos. This really helps me in a couple of ways. Number one, it helps me at the end of the year because I can see, wow, I really made a lot of progress in this room. And the things I did way back 12 months ago, I don't remember. But if I take a picture of the before, it helps me a lot. And the second way that it helps me is that if I'm out shopping, I have a picture of the room so that I can know what the colors look like if I find a painting that I like or I find a rug. I've got a picture on my phone that's with me so I can see what the paint color looks like. And I go even a step further, and I have a mood board for each room on my phone that I've done through Canva. And I have a tutorial on how to do that if you really want to geek out about it. But that helps me even more when I'm out shopping. The next step is you're going to do a quick measurement of each room. And this doesn't even take 1 minute. You measure the length, you measure the width, and you mark on it roughly where the windows and doors are. It doesn't have to be exact. You can do it in any notebook. And that just helps you to know if I come across an 8 by 10 rug, is that going to fit in this room? I don't have to go home and measure it because I got it all right here in my notebook. And the next step is something that you may want to do month by month. You set your budget. And this might not be the same for every month. For me, it definitely is not. I have some months where I can't afford to do hardly anything, and some months where I can afford to do a lot. So I know roughly how much I have to spend, and it doesn't have to be a lot to make a big difference. And the last step is, and this is a thing that's going to make you more likely to stick to your plan, is to get into a mastermind group. I've noticed that these groups have made the biggest difference for me in meeting my goals. If I'm meeting regularly with a group of people that are all working on a similar project, it makes me more likely to stick with it and to achieve it because I know that I'm going to meet with this group of people and talk with them about what I said I was going to do and what I did. And that makes me so much more likely, and studies show this is true, that you're more likely to achieve it. And if you're interested in a group of like-minded people who are working on their homes, design projects, I've got a link below, and I'm going to host a twice a month call, and there's a small cost to it. Studies also show you're less likely to blow it off and not do it if there's even a small cost associated with it. So if working on your home is something that you're interested in doing this year, I hope you'll join me.